Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. After learning the secret of Carter and Hope, Finn finds himself in a difficult situation with Steffy. Carter may bring the house of Forrester to its knees with his shocking revenge plot. When Carter saw that Steffy's personally motivated dismissal of Hope for requesting a favor from his best friend Ridge would not be reversed, his anger evolved from irritation to rage. In just a few weeks, Carter has gone from acknowledging that hope for the future was no longer a strength to claiming that maintaining it is essential to Forrester Creations' continued existence. It's important to note that his significant change in perspective occurs at the same time as he starts dating Hope. I hope Carter B&B. Since the Forresters are unaware that Carter's abrupt change of heart and intensity is due to a romance with Hope, only the bold and beautiful audience is aware of how hypocritical his position is. For some unclear reason, Carter is unable to simply explain that Steffy's assumption about Hope was incorrect and that she was actually lying in wait for him, not Finn, in lingerie, even though everyone who has ever worked at the design firm has had romantic relationships there. Naturally, this would make everything plain, and there would be no drama involved. This leads us to the present, when Ridge defied Carter's requests to bring Hope and her line back, as well as this week's spoilers, which hint to a plot of retaliation that the COO came up with to exact revenge on the Forresters for kicking out the beautiful Logan. What is Carter's level of anger, and why is that important? To put it simply, he is furious. Bent. Furious. Enraged. He is furious because he is certain that the Forresters are treating the Logans unfairly and because they have also turned down his plan to grow the business. This obviously won't take into account the fact that the Forresters have also sacked Forresters multiple times and that they have good reasons for rejecting his proposal. Is Carter furious enough to shoot himself in the foot or quit the company? Because he would have to choose between the two options in the scenarios we are picturing in order to have his retribution. Since Forrester is a family-run business, Carter has no influence or authority there. There aren't any, therefore he can't persuade shareholders that the CEOs are at fault. He must therefore do some harm to the business in order to exact his retribution. This goal would go against his own well-being because he works for Forrester Creations. Unless he intends to leave after completing whatever task he has in mind. What then is he capable of doing to the Forresters? He can, however, cause the family financial or legal problems. Since nothing on soap operas usually happens for no reason, the authors made a special effort to have Ridge bring up an LLC that Carter was meant to be creating for them in order to reduce their tax liability. The Forresters might be faced with a devastating tax burden if Carter does not register the LLC as directed. Shock with a Steffy hand. However, as a lawyer, he could provide Hope with behind-the-scenes advice on how to lawfully take the Forresters to court over the termination by identifying a legal gap. Naturally, he would have to conceal his agenda in order to carry out this plan, which Bold and Beautiful will never do. As we previously stated, Carter will need to have his bags packed and prepared to say, "Gotcha," as he leaves the company if he intentionally mistreats them. This holds true for everything he decides to do to Forrester Creations that negatively impacts the company in any manner. It only seems possible to harm the business or its reputation if Hope and Carter choose to sever their relationship with Forrester Creations instead of pressing to stay on staff. Why would you want to ruin a company that you intend to remain with? Subscribe to Soap's Bold and Beautiful newsletter, the text says. Subscribe to receive daily recaps, spoilers, exclusive interviews, and breaking news alerts delivered directly to your inbox. https://cloud.email.soaps.com/signup. The bottom line, Carter likely has the resources and the chance to destroy Forrester Creations if he so chooses, but he will need to be willing to leave, possibly to launch a new company with Hope. Perhaps his strategy is to launch a brand new, dazzling fashion brand while Forrester is incapacitated and exploiting it to the fullest. According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, John Finnegan might have a clue about the new man Hope Logan is seeing. Fans of B&B are aware that Hope apparently hurled herself at Finn in lingerie, which infuriated him. Hope, however, reassured Finn and Steffy Forrester, played by Jacqueline McInnes Wood, that the design office fiasco was not what it appeared to be. Hope's strongest advocate lately has been Carter Walton, but during the week of November 11th to 15th, she will have another ally. At that point, Deacon Sharp and Finn will debate the truth of what actually transpired at Forrester Creations. Naturally, Deacon will jump to Hope's support and maintain his daughter's innocence. Hope hasn't really pursued Finn since the drunken kiss at the Forrester party, despite her shame. Unfortunately, when Hope fell on Finn, it appeared as though she was planning to make him her man once more. Finn will not be persuaded by Deacon's attempts to explain that it was a misunderstanding. However, now could be a good moment for Finn to start moving on. Deacon can say that he believes Hope about the confusion and commend Carter for his support of her. Finn may begin to consider why Carter is so fervent in his defense of Hope, as Steffy has been wondering. What happens if Finn starts to suspect that Carter and Hope are more than just friends? Finn has, after all, played detective in earlier plots, such as when he discovered Steffy imprisoned in a cage and discovered Luna Nozawa was guilty. Finn has a propensity for solving mysteries since he also assisted Deacon in finding the kidnapped Sheila Sharp throughout the entire Sugar aka Janet Weber arc. Finn might even catch a glimpse of Hope and Carter together at some point. Perhaps Finn could go to Carter's loft to interrogate him and see Hope wearing underwear once more. That might finally make sense to Finn and help him realize that Steffy was completely mistaken. Finn would find himself in a difficult situation since he would feel compelled to tell Steffy the truth, but he also didn't want her to believe he was betraying her. Finn would be forced to tell Steffy that she made a mistake, even though he is probably the last person who would ever want to do so. Although Steffy may still stand by her decision to fire Hope, it would be intriguing to observe how she responds to Finn's unexpected turn of events. According to spoilers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Hope and Carter's secret must eventually be revealed. Stay tuned for more guesses about who will find out and update Steffy. The return of Ivy Forrester. Ivy appeared to Forrester Creations just now. Ivy said she had visited Los Angeles over several months. After her lengthy layoff, Ivy apparently never left, which allowed her to re-establish her relationship with Liam Spencer until being ejected by Steffy Forrester Finnegan. Carter surprised Steffy by bringing Ivy and Elektra Forrester together. The pitch was later accepted by Ridge Forrester after Steffy first rejected it. At the moment, Quinn was brought up, but I didn't give it much thought. After all, Quinn's jewelry line is being revived by Ivy and Elektra. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Hope Logan's romance. However, since then, Quinn has been mentioned a few more times, according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. Carter discussed with Hope Logan how his relationship with Katie Logan never really developed. Carter also discussed Quinn and Eric Forrester's, John McCook, contentious detail. Hope and Carter are fighting Forrester Creations together, even though their romance is very young. Carter is going to great lengths to save HFTF and get his own way after Hope was fired. Perhaps Carter ought to launch his own business if he has such strong feelings about FC's choices. Returning to Quinn, she has been brought up around 6 times in the last few weeks. The Logan family decides it's time to take Steffy Forrester to task in a daring confrontation at Forrester Creations. They challenge her on her most recent power maneuvers and call her bluff in a way that leaves the Forrester heiress with a tough decision. Despite the Logans' claims to the family business, Steffy has been fighting for years to maintain the Forrester name at the forefront of the corporation. The Logans aren't holding back this time, though, and they've made the decision to confront Steffy about her aggressive attempt to dictate the course of Forrester Creations. Steffy responds by considering taking a dramatic step, leaving the family company completely. After months of growing tension, Steffy and the Logans have a confrontation. The Logans believe Steffy's recent actions have gone beyond safeguarding Forrester Creations and are on the verge of eroding their positions and power within the organization, especially Brooke and Hope. Ever the watchful mother, Brooke believes that Steffy's efforts to marginalize Hope's hope for the future line and advocate for more conventional Forrester designs are inhibiting the company's innovation and neglecting its younger, expanding clientele. Hope has also had enough of Steffy's efforts to dictate the brand's destiny and minimize Logan's role. At a pivotal point, the Logans confront Steffy and ask if she is prepared to steer the business toward an outdated, antiquated vision in order to uphold her family's legacy. Brooke notes that Forrester Creations has prospered due to innovation and adaptation as well as tradition. She asks Steffy directly if her idea for the business is in line with the current fashion industry. Hope also raises her voice, reminding Steffy that her efforts have given the brand a fresh voice, attracting a wide range of consumers and generating significant success that shouldn't be disregarded. The Logans make it apparent that they will no longer allow Steffy's vision to marginalize them and that they are prepared to speak up and make sure their ideas are incorporated into Forrester Creations' future. Steffy is put in an awkward situation after being taken aback by the Logans' united front. She has long considered herself the curator of the Forrester name and brand, standing guard over the company's heritage and shielding it from what she perceived to be other influences. She has a strong sense of duty to uphold her family's labors and make sure Forrester Creations continues to represent the Forrester brand. However, Steffy starts to wonder if she can actually share power at Forrester or if her ideals are just too different from theirs after the Logans stand their ground and contest her vision. Following the altercation, Steffy thinks about leaving Forrester Creations completely. She is angry, misled, and misunderstood. She questions whether her position in the firm has grown too aggressive and whether her family's heritage can still flourish the way she has envisioned. Although leaving the family business is a bold move that might completely upend the corporation, Steffy believes the Logans have put her in a difficult situation. She wonders for the first time if she would be happy following her own path, away from the power struggles and never-ending conflicts that have characterized her work at Forrester. The family is rocked by the thought that Steffy might leave. Since his daughter has always been his staunchest ally and the embodiment of his vision for Forrester Creations, her father, Ridge, is heartbroken at the prospect of her leaving the company. He urges her to find a way to live with the Logans for the sake of the business in an attempt to persuade her to stay. Eric is also worried since he has always thought of Steffy as a born leader who is well-versed in the principles of the company. He fears that if he were to lose her, the essence of what Forrester Creations has stood for many years would be lost. Steffy considers the wider picture as she considers her next course of action. She would be able to build something completely original and uphold her family's beliefs without compromising if she left Forrester Creations, which would relieve her of the ongoing conflict with the Logans. However, leaving would entail giving up the history she has worked so hard to defend and giving authority to a vision with which she disagrees. Both families may experience a sea change as a result of the Forrester-Logan stalemate. If Steffy departs, Forrester Creations may embrace change and move beyond its historical foundations, entering a new period driven by Logan influence. However, her decision to stay would indicate that she is committed to updating her strategy and figuring out how to preserve the Forrester tradition while pursuing a more expansive and inclusive brand vision. In any case, Steffy's choice will reshape Forrester Creations' future and determine how the family, and the business, develops over the years to come. At Forrester Creations, Hope Logan is determined to speak up for what she feels is right, not only for herself but also for the company's future. She is on a mission to secure justice. Hope has finally had enough of living under the shadow of the Forrester family dynamics and the fierce arguments over creative control for years. She is getting ready to speak up because of recent events at the company, which range from corporate power struggles to underappreciated inventions and discriminatory treatment. Hope's battle isn't only about economics because the company is at a turning point, it's also about the Forrester name's integrity and her place within it. Carter Walton, Forrester's dependable COO and legal counsel, is at the heart of her fight, and his impending ruling may have a big influence on Hope's quest for justice. Carter has consistently been the Forrester family's dependable, impartial confidant, striking a balance between his obligations to the business and his allegiance to the family. But now that Hope is trying to win him over, Carter has to make one of the hardest choices of his professional life. Given the potential for internal strife, should he support Hope's pursuit of justice and openness, or should he put his allegiance to the Forresters, who have trusted him for years, above all else? Hope's conviction that the Logan family's contributions to Forrester Creations have been overlooked for far too long is at the heart of her battle for justice. She is committed to eliminating any prejudices that have been hindering her and wants her line, Hope for the Future, to get the funding, recognition, and creative freedom it merits. Hope wants Forrester Creations to be a place that values all contributions equally and honors merit, regardless of family ties. According to her, the organization must adopt a more inclusive strategy that prioritizes talent above tradition if it is to succeed. Hope makes a genuine and impassioned plea to Carter. He has a strong sense of ethics, is in a position to effect change, and she believes he can help make a meaningful difference. Hope expresses her worries in private talks about how family ties and partiality have occasionally slowed down the business, fostering an atmosphere where those who aren't Forrester by blood feel marginalized. She has faith that Carter will carefully evaluate what she says and the wider ramifications of advocating for equitable treatment within the organization. She is aware that enlisting his help could be essential to enacting the reforms she feels are required. But Carter is conflicted. Though he is cognizant of the intricate family relationships that characterize Forrester Creations, he also has a great deal of respect for Hope and can relate to her frustrations. Carter is aware that backing Hope's cause would put her up against strong characters like Steffy and Ridge, who fiercely defend their family's heritage. Carter is also concerned that siding with Hope may put pressure on his long-standing ties to the Forrester family, placing him in a precarious position both emotionally and professionally. Carter, however, is not only considering himself. In addition, he is worried about the company's long-term prospects and wants to make sure that Forrester Creations continues to be inventive, forward-thinking, and equitable. He is aware that businesses that value diversity and fair procedures tend to do better, and he sees that Hope's inclusive vision might be exactly what the business needs to remain competitive in the quickly evolving fashion industry. Carter's thoughts are racing as he mulls over how his choice can either strengthen the divisions already present between the Forrester and Logan camps or create new ones within the corporation. Carter considers his alternatives as he considers his next course of action. One way to demonstrate that Forrester Creations supports all voices, not just those with family links, would be to publicly support Hope and advocate for her views on equal treatment and creative freedom within the organization. Another choice is to mediate discreetly, attempting to reach an agreement between Hope and the Forresters in private in the hopes of reaching a mutually agreeable solution. Naturally, he might choose to remain completely impartial, retain his position as the advisor, and steer clear of any potential conflict with the Forresters. But the stakes are great, and Carter's sense of accountability is growing. His choice might change the organizational culture at Forrester Creations in a way that is more inclusive and transparent by establishing a precedent for the distribution of power and influence. As he considers his principles and his admiration for Hope's courage, Carter sees that he might have a chance to contribute to something greater than himself, a chance to significantly impact the organization and forward an equitable vision that could be advantageous to all parties. Carter has in-depth conversations with Hope and the Forrester family in the days preceding his choice in an effort to comprehend their points of view. He wants to be certain that he can honestly support the course he decides to take. He knows that his position will have a long-term impact on his relationships and his legacy at Forrester Creations, thus the weight of his decision is heavy. In the end, Carter's choice will show if he is prepared to question the established quo for the sake of justice and support Hope's objective of bringing equity and openness to the business. His decision might strengthen Hope's struggle for justice, or it might consolidate the Forresters' dominance, thereby reiterating the familial ties that have traditionally guided the company's course. Carter is aware that this is a pivotal moment for Forrester Creations and its future, not just for himself, regardless of his choice. Everyone is left wondering as he gets ready to make his choice: will Carter choose justice or loyalty?